How's it going, guys? This is Levi from BayFoils, and today we got another real talk video. Today we're going to talk about the new Waydoo Flyer Evo Pro efoil by Waydoo. That name is a mouthful. That's already not cool. But, I've made tier lists in the past. I really haven't done one this year because I'm relatively not interested. It just causes negative discourse on the internet, and I truly think that we should be coming together as e-foilers and really growing the community in a positive way, not just trying to take shots at each other. But I have gotten a lot of questions about this in just the couple of days that it's been being advertised now. Yeah, before we get into it, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, please. I make these videos just for people on the internet to get a little bit more information from a trusted source. We've been in the efoil industry for going on 5 years now, so we've seen it all. I've ridden on a lot of different boards. I've ridden on the Waydoo, I've ridden on Lift, Getfoil, Takuma, Awake. I've tried them all. I'm not trying to just be a fanboy. I'm trying to give some objective experience, as I do have experience with all these brands. When they came out with when they announced this unit earlier in the year, it was priced at $63.99. It was only $600 under a fliteboard Air, and they quickly realized that's not going to fly. $600 is not a lot when we're looking at a $7,000 price. That's less than 10% to upgrade into the arguably leader of the industry. So they lowered the price to $53.99, and, if we know anything about capitalism, money talks. And so a lot of people are very interested in this because, it's much, much lower. This is the lowest priced efoil on the market right now. And it's causing discourse. I've gotten plenty of DMs and phone calls already asking what I think about this. And honestly, what I think about it is people are going to buy it for sure. Like, there are going to be people who just can't afford $1,600 or can't justify that, and they're going to get one of these. Are they going to get out efoiling and have a good time? Sure. Are they going to get something on the same caliber of ride experience as a fliteboard? No. Are they getting a brand? Are they buying into a trusted brand that has a large network of people who are going to help you if you have any issues? No. Is there wide variety of product in terms of growth of the sport? Like, do they offer a lot of upgrades, accessories, wings, etc. to customize your ride? No. At the end of the day, you're saving some money, but you're getting a much more limited experience. It's not going to be the same thing. And I don't think anyone cares or realizes it, but it's not really the best thing for our industry. What we want right now is not a race to the bottom in just dollars. What we want is to not create lower price product with a lower price experience. We want to take the higher priced product, the higher quality experience, and bring that level down. We don't want to be creating new stuff that's cheaper and shittier. We want to take the good stuff and lower the cost on that, which is exactly what Fliteboard did. Same motor technology, same battery, same controller, same app, same customer service. They just manufactured an airboard that's a quarter the cost of carbon to bring that price down. They didn't create a new motor or fuselage or anything to make it lower price. No cheaper wings, which is what this unit is about. I've actually seen one already. I've gotten my hands on it. I was able to lift it up, check out the battery, check out the controller, check out the whole shebang. And it's just not on the same level. The board is still really flimsy foam, which if you have one crash, it's game over. You're not fixing it. There's no extra waterproofing on the battery, which is not awesome. Personally, I don't think that's really safe for the industry. That's if you have a crack in the battery or your gasket is not clean and totally watertight, we can run into some issues. It's just overall not a great look for the efoil industry. Because you gotta think about it this way. Efoiling, still 95% of people don't know what an efoil is. We get into an echo chamber because we are all efoilers. We seek this stuff out on the internet. We're surrounded it by it. We surround ourselves with it because this is our thing. And so it may look like everybody knows what it is and everybody's talking about it. When I go on my YouTube, on my page, it's just like jazz music, foil content, and video games, because that's what I look for. But your average person has no idea what this is. And if their first impression is a Waydoo, it's not going to give a good taste in people's mouth, because you could just tell, like if you put a Waydoo and a fliteboard air next to each other, which I've done, it's a clear, like you can clearly tell what the better product is. And that directly translates to people's buying habits. Humans are creatures of impulse, of emotion. If we have a negative first impression on something, it takes a lot more work to rebuild trust and change your perception from that first impression than anything. It's so hard. I mean, you could just look at, like, there are so many examples. Like the most recent example is Concord, the video game. If you're a gamer, you know what I'm talking about. But this game came out to terrible first impressions. This is a game that they put hundreds of millions of dollars, 8 years worth of investment into, and it was dead within 14 days. Literally dead, because the first impressions were so terrible. Why is that important? Well, it translates to efoiling. If this kind of product becomes the first impression for the majority of people, it's not going to grow our industry, because this is definitely not a premier product. It's a little bootleg. Just the presentation of it. It's super heavy. It's just not a really great experience. Versus if you look at a fliteboard, not only do they have a really great entry-level product, but there's upgrades. You can go up and spend as much as you want and really chase the upper limits of what the efoil industry is capable of. I rambled a bunch. There's probably nothing really important to get from this video other than this is just a bad representation for our entire industry. And that's kind of why we need to be a little bit concerned with it. Not to mention, Waydoo as a company doesn't really have the same sort of network that fliteboard does. So, like, you know, not like for example, if we're comparing the two, like, what do you get for the extra $1,600 it would cost to upgrade from a Waydoo? Well, for one, there's all the safety, all the tech stuff, but that kind of stuff is really hard to conceptualize if you haven't tried it. If you haven't tried a Waydoo and a fliteboard, it's really hard to understand what the ride experience is like, what a better ride feels like. It's the same with like cars, food. If you've never driven a really fancy car, you have no frame of reference on that. If you've never tried like a really fancy restaurant, you have no frame of reference. Wine, beer, everything. The craft beer is founded on the backbone that everybody has tried really bad beer. And when you try something good, it's like, wow, this is refreshing. This is great. But not everyone's at that. Efoiling is not at that level. And so, you know, the big things to consider when you're looking at an entry-level price is, you know, the post-customer support. That's the big thing that's going to separate Waydoo from fliteboard. You know, fliteboard has hundreds of dealers in the United States. Waydoo has like 6. I mean, let's look. 1, 2. We have 15 dealers in the entirety of the United States, which means if you buy one and you need some support from Waydoo, from your dealer, or you need a part locally, it's going to be weeks that you're off the water. Versus fliteboard, which has hundreds of partners. I just got back from the annual dealer meeting, and there was 80 of us there. And that's not even half of the dealers that are out there. So just buyer beware. I'm not going to sit here and tell people what to buy. I'm going to sit here and try to inform people on what they are getting into. At the end of the day, it's both products are going to get you out on the water, which is good. If it means efoiling or not efoiling, get what you want to get, because I personally want more efoilers. I don't care what brand you have. Obviously, we're in the industry of selling fliteboard, so I will continue to sell fliteboard and continue to back that brand because it's the brand that I have the most trust in, that makes us as a reseller and flight school feel supported in the industry and in everything. Fliteboard's really making a commitment to efoiling and foiling as a community of people out there. They're not just trying to sell a product and make a bunch of money. They're selling a product and a service and building a community. So, no moral. Do what you want, but beware. It's a little, I mean, I'm not going to say snake oil, but you're buying into not a great look. You're buying into Temu. We're buying into the Temu version of a fliteboard, and so some people don't care, some people do. You make your own decision, but we'll see you in the next video.